I was watching this YouTube video yesterday, and there was a guy who was having a TED talk about growth and the discomfort that comes with. But he had a very interesting take, which was different from how I've always thought about growth and the comfort zone. Because I've always thought about it as on one side, you're in your comfort zone, and on the other side, you're experiencing maximum progress. But I think I've thought about it as all or nothing for far too long, and that has come at a steep personal cost. Now, it should be obvious that when you quit everything to chase your dream, you have to be at least able to afford your life. Otherwise, you'll start rushing the job or the business to do the things that you want it to do for you, and you won't be patient enough to wait for it to materialize and for your dreams to actually come true, because it takes time. And so if you can afford to at least have some money to live on and to also do business, then you have to go in by all means, because that's the only way you can actually make it all mean something. And so if you have all these things and you've been entertaining thoughts of going your own way or doing a business or maybe getting a new job, and maybe you have money to survive on for the next few months, then jump and try to spare no effort in the attainment of your goals. But if you'll starve in a month, then I don't think it makes sense to actually start that business yet, because it would be better to spend more time to actually find money to live on and maybe start that business before you can actually go all in. I think that's just being realistic, and I never always used to think like this. Now, according to this guy, there's four zones. There's stagnation on one side, which is your comfort zone. And then there's order, which is stability, I think. And then there's complexity, he called it, I think. And then at the end, there's chaos. Now, on one side, there's your comfort zone, and on the other extreme end, there's chaos. And I think I've always thought myself to be in either one of these two places, and that cost me plenty. Because in some cases, maybe I didn't need to be that drastic, because when you drop everything and go to chase this thing, then and you can't afford to do that, at least not yet, then you dive straight into chaos. Now, how you think of that chaos and how you respond to it, and everything that's happening around you as that chaos goes on, that determines whether or not you can be able to succeed. And then it's also a ticking time bomb, because how long can you withstand that chaos before you have to take a step back and maybe go get a real job like I did, so that you can at least be able to afford your life, right? And I maybe could have done everything another way. Maybe I could have saved up some more. Yeah, so this guy's video made me examine those two scenarios where I burnt boats and it didn't work out. And looking back, I realized that I was so desperate to get out of what I thought was stagnation, and I didn't think of any other way to do that other than go and start my own business, without thinking about the fact that I knew nothing about the business I was going into. And the job that I was trying to leave, looking back right now, I think there was an opportunity for me at some point to add complexity to it and take more responsibility. And that would have come with the growth that I was looking for at the time. Of course, I didn't know this back then, but looking back right now, I feel like that would have gotten rid of my stagnation without having to burn boats and bridges and dive deep into something I knew nothing about. And I don't think it was really about so much about that business more than it was about feeling like I was progressing, like I was moving ahead in life. And this guy's spectrum makes me realize that I could have grown. I could have got out of my comfort zone. I could have got out of that stagnation that I was facing at that time without having to take such drastic measures. And so I think what I'll leave you with is the fact that going all in into something isn't the only way. Burning everything down to go to the next thing isn't the only way, also. Sometimes it's easy to know that what the way is, but most times it's not. But I think it's better to analyze your scenario and think about why you want the change in your life to begin with. And then also, how much of a change do you actually need? Maybe you'd be satisfied with a smaller change. Maybe it will work for you that way. Or maybe then you will realize that the small change isn't working for you. You need to take something, you need to take more drastic steps. You need to do something more daring.